This is what everyone's been waiting for. This one right here.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge, huge podcast today.
I wonder what it's about.
I don't know. I think that's why it took us about 3-4 days to process what happened.
You're right. Darren got shitty at Halloween.
That doesn't surprise me at all, though. Like, that probably did happen.
Oh, it happened for multiple reasons.
What was that reason, Darren? What was the main reason?
I think the main reason was Michigan State.
Yeah, what a game, huh?
What a game. But before we get into it, Justin, would you like to do the introduction?
Yeah, let's welcome him on. Everybody, this is Austin Montas Burt. He is our cousin, basically brother. Grew up with him. Austin, take it away. Can I give us a little introduction of yourself?
Yeah, so I'm the brother, technically the cousin, and it's great to be a part of the Two Brothers One podcast. Pretty excited, love these guys to death. Maybe not to death because they're Michigan fans, but pretty close to it. Yeah, I mean, I was introduced slightly in the first podcast by one of Justin's favorite stories from the canoe marathon.
You want to defend yourself on that?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, there's not really much to defend. I was just out there standing right on the edge of the rocks when I just saw D pass by, and I said, oh, well, I guess we're useless out here, and didn't know what was happening. And, yeah, it was pretty much that way the rest of the race. We went to another spot. We thought, well, we were told to go, and standing in some very, very cold water in the middle of the night. Trust us, no other feeders around. All the other families are standing on the bridge, and we're in the water, and everyone's looking at us like we're stupid. And we were. I asked D if he needs anything, and he looks at me, and he starts yelling back. He's like, why the hell would I need you here? We got another stop in like 15. Leave. Get out of here. And, yeah, so that was another embarrassing moment for us, so.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
that was it was a great night. It was we stayed up all night. I don't think anybody got a lick of sleep, and it was nice to kind of be around like Austin, Chase, and JC. Kind of gave a little, kind of lifted up the momentum a couple times. But all right, Austin. Well, he is a Michigan State fan, everybody, and Darren and I had to bite our tongue. We had to bite our tongue a little bit to bring him on here to talk about this.
Yes, for everyone, we knew we were very biased, so we were like, we got to find a reasonable Michigan State fan, because we know a lot of you Michigan State fans are not. And then I'll just get into a yelling match. But I mean, I'm assuming this is going to still end in a yelling match. But
yeah, emotions have calmed. Emotions have calmed down just a little bit. But I'm excited to kind of sit back and let you guys duke this one out.
Yeah.
Austin, what is your first impression of the game? Like, we're sitting on a Wednesday night. Like, what are you taking away from that as a Sparty?
Well, leading up to it, I had got tickets, attended the game, had some in the so-called Spartan section. It was pretty much 60-40 Michigan to MSU, so not really Spartan section. But yeah, I was expecting going in there, hoping there was a chance. Thought there was, knowing there really wasn't. But walked in there, expectations were 45-7. That was my prediction walking into that Michigan State game. Michigan just going to absolutely put us in the doghouse for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a Michigan fan, it was one of those Michigan State games that I felt comfortable about. Like, I went into the game not like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up before the game. It felt like Michigan's going to win this game just by how much. But Darren, what are your first thoughts?
I wanna key in on some players, right? So I'll go to the Michigan State side. I'm gonna go with their whole offensive line. I thought their whole offensive line played fairly well. I mean, they never got the run game, but they gave Thorne a chance to throw the ball. I thought they picked up blitzes very well. I'm giving them guys, from what I understand, were banged up for most of the season. They played well at the big house.
Yeah, and that's what happens when both those teams are coming off byes. You get healthy. And what's nice is they got Jacob Slade back on the defensive line. He kind of anchored down a little bit. But at the end of the day, like, all Peyton Thorne had to do was take a 3-step drop and throw it up to Keon Coleman or Jaden Reed. And granted, you might catch half of them, but guess what? Those half are still chunk plays.
Right, and I think later on in the game, especially the second half, you saw Rod Moore shadowing Keon Coleman big time. Jaden Reed was very inexistent, besides that one reverse play that he had for like 10, 15 yards.
Well, Jesse Mentor, he made a great adjustment. He saw Jermaine Green get mossed right away. And right away he goes, all right, we're going to go a shell cover 2 and have a safety lurking over top. And that's a great play. I mean, you're making Keon Coleman not just go 1v1, it's 2-on-1, and you never know what can happen.
Right. Yeah, you guys are making great points. I definitely agree with you. Biggest thing there to take away is Michigan makes adjustments, Michigan State doesn't.
Oh, I completely
and that comes to coaching.
Yeah.
And that comes to coaching. Mel Tucker saw it last year. It's been seen. It is seen this year. He's basically what you call a recruiter. He'll bring the guys in. He'll do what he has to do to make sure he gets the high 4 stars, the higher 3 stars type players. Bring them on, get them here. Got a lot of nice transfer portal guys, but he can't coach. He just unfortunately can't coach, and he's said it multiple times. He's not going to change, and so that's why we're going to give up 500 yards every game.
I think
we're 1-4 in the conference.
I think Jay Johnson came out his first 8 because if you guys don't know, I know you both know, but people listening, each college team has a first 8. Like their first 8 plays are scripted to the T. Every movement, offensive line's making, running back, whatever. Every single one of those plays, they came out. Jay Johnson had a good first 8, and then after that, it was kind of like, what do I do here?
Yeah, I definitely saw a little bit of panic. Once Michigan finally got on the board after Keon Coleman's touchdown, it was like, oh crap, like we didn't know we were going to be in this game kind of vibe. Even though, like, I think everyone felt like I said it in our last podcast, I felt like they were going to be in this game. And for the most part, for 3 quarters, were. I mean, they had a chance.
Yeah,
they go down and they score when it's 19-7, and it's a 1-possession game.
I mean, right before the half. It was 13-7 right before the half. 4th and 1, had a chance to kick the field goal. And what do? We run a delayed counter to a left tackle by himself.
Yeah.
Against Mozzie Smith.
We get blown to shreds.
Bad
play calling.
I was literally scratching my head. Like, as much as I loved to see that happen, I was like, I would have ran to Ann Arbor right there and just pantsed Jay Johnson on the sideline.
Right. But, kind of going off of that, too, like that red zone, don't even get me started. I mean, hats off to Michigan State's defense in the red zone. They kept them in the game, and then
it's that bend don't break mentality. We're gonna give you the first 85, 90 yards you want. And then the last 10, you ain't got no room for your receivers to go. So
I will tell you what,
gonna score.
I was about to freak out when all Michigan State strength and conditioning guys were doing the chop the wood.
Listen,
like that is.
It's the worst thing.
I wanted to throw up.
Every coach, every player that doesn't play, even the players on the field do it.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Because the only thing they're chopping at is to figure out how small of a record they can make.
Yeah, are we going to make a bowl game, guys? Well, let's keep dropping at it.
Yeah, let's do that. But, just let me finish up here. Like, for the Michigan side, red zone troubles, and I think Jim Harbaugh kind of hit it on his press conference yesterday, was we got to get Andrell Anthony. It's honestly, the receivers are at fault here. I'm not blaming the play calling. I think Matt Weiss is putting together a decent game plan. It's the receivers are not getting any separation. And the fact that they couldn't get any, separation against Michigan State secondary, is gonna be detrimental in a couple weeks when we travel to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, going off that, I think Michigan called a halfway decent game. I have no complaints, and honestly, like the red zone offense, yes, atrocious. But hats off to Scotty Hazelton actually figuring out how to call defense.
Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that.
I mean, he kind of was like, all right, your back's to the wall. Like, you only give up 29 points and only 2 touchdowns. Yeah, but like that's all Michigan needed to do. Like Michigan's defense was carrying momentum every single play. Like every drive, Michigan's defense, I felt like Michigan State was going to get in a 3rd and long or a 2nd and long. And from there, it's hard, especially when Peyton Thorne's your quarterback. But
right,
yeah, it's tough when you don't got probably one of the best, if not the best, rookie now in the NFL out there behind your back in your backfield.
yeah,
can't rely on him to go out there and score you 5 TDs to win the game against a top 4 team. So
yeah, I it's just one of those things. I mean, Blake Corum, scores twice, kind of just solidified himself right there for that Heisman, which we're going to hit on a little bit later. But, the game fell into Michigan's hands in the second half. We stuck to our identity. We're going to ground and pound you, and then we're going to, make JJ check down somewhere and get a first down just so we can run some more clock. And, when it comes to Illinois and then Ohio State, it's going to be one of those games where I feel like defensively, those two teams are better than Michigan State, and they're gonna make JJ throw the ball, and they're gonna make Matt Weiss, spread everything out, have 4 wide receivers, maybe even 5 receivers, and take a tight end off.
Well, what's nice about that is that Michigan. What are you gonna do, Darren, as a defensive coordinator? What are you looking at? Are you looking to put 6?
Gotta put man-to-man.
You putting 7?
Man. You saw how MSU just not necessarily locked down, but with probably the worst corners in the league, in all of college football, made it to where not necessarily they were freaking basically on their back, but they kept it to the point where, JJ didn't have that nice clean look to where you could just put it anywhere in the zone. Ohio State has that secondary to basically play that man-to-man, so you can pack the box against them, I think.
Yeah, Jim Knowles is known for playing cover defense. He's not a man-to-man guy. Right. And the guys at Ohio State have been in a cover defense with their past DC. And so at this moment, but like at the same time, if you put 7 in the box against Michigan's offensive line, we'll just play action you and have Schoonmaker run a slice route right underneath, and that's 6 yards. It's a run. That's all it is. That's all we're asking JJ to do. We're not asking him to find the tiniest zones 15 yards down the field running out of the pocket using his arm. He can do that, but that's not what we're asking him to do. We're asking
not yet, at least. Not yet.
Hot take, we're not going to need him to do that at all this year.
Oh, I think against Ohio State he will.
No.
Nope. Okay, played against the linebackers Ohio State have. They're not the ones that decide to put bricks in their shoes like Michigan State's linebackers do. Holiday doesn't know what the hell he's out there doing.
Okay. Let's talk about the Penn State-Ohio State game then. Penn State, 2 true freshman running backs have a great day against them.
They did.
And Michigan stomped them. Like, just easily put a brick wall right there. And Michigan, and you saw Penn State's rushing offense was fluent all night, all day. And then Sean Clifford decides to turn the ball over 1,800 times. Like Ohio State, Ohio State, freaking
defensively just had probably the best game anyone could have in college football.
Right, that's exactly. Like if you're a defender, that's what you literally dream of as a kid. All right, but we're kind of straying off topic here for a sec. But all right, Austin. We're going to get your take before we unleash the dog and Darren. The tunnel incident. What happens? What's going through your mind?
So, honestly, it's tough. It's embarrassing for sure. Heartbreaking. But you know, you can't take the dog out of the Spartan dogs. If you get them in your backyard, they're probably going to bite. They're going to come at you. Not saying it's the right thing to do, but it's going to happen.
Does that start from the top down? Who are you blaming here?
Oh, I mean, truthfully, I'm blaming whoever decided to make that first move, which was more than likely MSU. Inside, I don't think it was smart. I mean, I don't see anyone going into the hood, into the streets, just all by themselves, talking mad shit to anyone out there.
Right.
Like,
right.
why put yourself in those shoes like
right.
that? I get it. Maybe that's your routine, that's your thing. But there's a fight at Penn State game in the tunnel. There's no reason to do that after there was already a fight on the field right before the game. I mean, they had things to do to break it up. At halftime at the game, I saw they had full thing of security. Nobody's allowed to go in until Michigan State's in their locker room. Then they allow that whole Michigan team to come through. So I'm kind of blaming the fact that he went in there, but then obviously the most blame deserves to be put on MSU and those players. They deserve for whatever comes from them for assaulting a person. But like now at this point, there's been too many problems inside that tunnel. I get it. It's a ritual. It's normal. It's what you have to do. But got to figure out something. I mean, hire in security. Make sure there's enough people in big games like this. I mean, it's a full 111,000 people in the stands. Mel Tucker got hit in the head by a Michigan fan walking through the tunnel. It's just like, come on, figure out ways to make it so one, players don't have to fight players, and then fans aren't even allowed to do some things like that too. But don't look good for the Spartan Dogs. I mean, most of the guys were defensive players, so
you can't get any worse, right?
Maybe we have some backups that are going to come in and perform better. I don't know. It could be a blessing in disguise.
So you brought up a good point, Austin. I like the idea of in the big games like an Ohio State, a Penn State, or a Michigan State, just get more people there, because just get some state troopers. Just put like 5 of them right there. It's an easy fix right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Now, before we unleash Darren here in a sec, do you have any last words, Austin?
Can't take the dog out the dog. That's about it.
All right, Darren, go.
Okay, so I'm going to start with this. This from all the facts that have been presented right now up until this point. I might look stupid in a couple days when maybe other things come to the surface, but off of everything we know right now and the actions that have been taken on this Wednesday night, right? This is what I'm going to go off of. This started all at Michigan State, right? So there was a report during the game, as I was rewatching the game, that Paul was on the field. Paul Bunyan, the trophy, right, was on the field. And when Michigan already had the game put away with about 3 minutes left, I think, don't quote me on that, around that time, Michigan staffers went over there to grab it, and of course, Michigan State's like, no, it's still ours for another 3 minutes. Like, just already setting the tone for the type of sore losers that they are. That whole program is, right? So, and here comes my next question, right? Do we go after the girl that is standing outside of, like, let's say, like a bar or whatever, wearing, some not a lot of clothing on the phone, getting harassed by girls? No, right? I mean, other dudes. Sorry. No, we don't blame her, right? We don't blame her. And so what the correlation is, right? Skipping into his own tunnel, mind you, there's been no information of him talking crap at all, right? And he's done this before. Him going into the tunnel, getting dragged and beaten by 8 to 10 players is assault. It's not an incident. I know you guys said incident. It's straight up assault, right? He's got every right to go in there. Is it right to go in there? Who knows? Is it his tunnel? Yes. Is there a procedure set in place? Yes. Has he done it plenty of times before? Yes.
I'll hold you this. Is it technically his tunnel? Not at that moment, no.
There's nothing written in place. There's like what do you call it? Like an unspoken rule that this is how people walk in. But anyone can walk in there. And once the game's over, you got to have the dignity to lose and leave it all out there, right? Just leave it out. It's over with. Stay mad deep down, but nothing should come from it. You had 4 quarters to beat someone's ass. And then you're going to put, in the most cowardly way, you're going to jump him in the tunnel by himself with not even his teammates around? Coward. Cowards, jail. Jail. Jail.
Okay, do they jump him, though? I mean, if he's by himself, like I said, he'd put him inside that scenario.
I walk down the street by myself all the time, not expecting I'm going to get mugged.
Okay, that's totally not even in. That's why I correlated it to you're in the street of a place that you shouldn't be, that you know that that could be very dangerous.
It's a football game. The football game's over, right? This guy, like I said, there's no report of him chirping or anything. Just skipping.
Okay, how could yes, there may not be someone saying, okay, yeah, he was talking this, and this. Something had to have come about. It's not just like, oh, you're inside the tunnel with me. Here's my helmet to your head.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's my opinion. Because I know all of us, right? If I get hit, I'm gonna start hitting back, right? So this is my opinion. This is what I believe that happened just from the video that I saw, right? And believe me or not, he goes into the tunnel, right? He's skipping. He's probably happy. Michigan State sees that right next to him because it gets very skinny in that tunnel. I've walked in that tunnel. Trust me. It gets very slim. They probably didn't like it. Probably like shoved him a little bit and goes, "Don't hit me like that." You know, some verbal altercation happens, and then some Michigan State guy pushes him, and then it's on, right? And then they all jump on him, right? Which is that's just coward. Like, let him get to his
logo. You can't think of that right away because first words out of Blake Corum's mouth after the win in the press conference was, "Hey, I thought Tuck's coming." You can't tell me while you're walking through the tunnel that man isn't out here like, "Oh, I thought Tuck's coming," or saying some other stupid. He's not just smiling, thinking, "Oh, you know what, bright sunny day."
No, hey, listen. Austin brings up a good point, and don't get me wrong, like
we talk shit to each other even after fucking wiffle ball games.
Yeah,
I don't hate you. I don't take my helmet off.
Derek takes the wiffle ball back to the knees every time. But anyways, like Austin brings up a good point. Like he was skipping in there. The video does show like he skips and then right as the tunnel starts, he puts his head down and starts walking.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the part I will bring up. But the other part is it is a rivalry game. Tensions are extremely high. You just beat their crap out of them for 4 quarters, and of course, I'm not.
3.
Me.
First quarter we won.
Fair. But I'm even myself, as a former equipment manager, I'm probably going to say something.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
so
we talk shit after playing basketball.
That's
in the street.
That exactly what I'm saying right now. And does that equivalent to getting jumped? No. But at the same time,
a weapon.
But like at the same time, you got to understand. Like, listen, he didn't walk in there and like I'm going to fight this whole team.
No, not shot.
80 to 1.
That was the right way to go.
It's not going to happen. But at the same time, like he might have said something that set someone off, and boom, gone. It started.
And but you can't. I don't blame someone like that. If everyone's been chirping the whole game, and if it's going to continue, and he's going to do that, it shouldn't. It should not have gotten to the point where it's 10-on-1.
And I think
I'll retract my stuff. Talking shit, whatever might have happened, whatever. I'm just saying, just from the assault part of it, just cowardly and just terrible. Because in my mind, if you're going to fight someone, you fight them one-on-one.
I will say this, though. Michigan State, their president, and Mel Tucker have done a fantastic job at handling the situation.
Yeah. I mean, and like Jim Harbaugh said, there's going to be charges filed.
Oh yeah, Draymond Green's family has hired a lawyer and will pursue legal actions, rightfully so. But at the same time, Michigan State as a university has done the right thing. And what I hate about this is that Michigan State has nothing to lose. Like they're 3-5 now. No, Michigan has this hanging on their back at 8-0.
Yeah. And we go to a Rutgers game next Saturday night. Like, okay, this is fitting right into Rutgers' hands.
Yeah.
Okay, they're distracted, right?
So I got a question for you guys. It's still related to this, but like, we've all been on big teams. We've all won those big games. We've done this and that. And I understand there's rituals, there's things that happen after games. You just got the trophy after not winning for 2 straight years. Your team's out there celebrating on the field. Why the hell are you going in the tunnel anyway without your team?
Jim Harbaugh, but it's been reported multiple times that he does that all the.
No. I get that. Like I said, but you just won a big game against a team, one of your biggest rivals, who had beat you last year to make it so you were unbeaten. Why are you still not celebrating at that point though? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, we won. Fuck it. I'm going into the locker room to hang out by myself.
So I'm gonna jump in here for a sec because I have been in Central Michigan's locker room when we win a big game, like Western last year. Like, yeah, we celebrate for a second on the field. I'm gonna let you know right now that locker room is hype. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, it gets
like you
sure.
and plus you're gonna want to get in there, get whatever treatment you need, so then you can party and you can jump around with everybody, take your shoulder pads off, and that's what he does every week. Like the trophy is not going to stay on the field; it's coming in the locker room,
No.
and that's
that's what I'm saying. I understand. It was just more or less a question like, why so quick? Like, why are you trying to get in? I get you're trying to get treatment, you're doing this and that, but like, I mean, when you win a district, that obviously once you get in that locker room, that you're getting pumped. That's where all the party starts.
Right.
But you're not like, all right, I'm booking it to the locker room. I'm booking it. We won book this game.
We could sit here and be like, oh, like why not? Why didn't he stay out there?
No,
But I mean, in the end, if he didn't want to be out there, what if he wanted to go see his family or something? Who knows, right? Hey, we cannot blame a person for walking or skipping into the tunnel.
There was a report that Jermon Green's dad is a trucker and was at the end of the tunnel.
So there you go.
Okay.
There was a report. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a verified account that said it. So you got to believe it, right?
Which it could be too. It could be like I said. I'm not agreeing with what happened.
Right. Yeah.
But in all circumstances, something like you said, Justin, needs to happen and to cut it back. I mean, NFL. They had it happen in the NFL.
Exactly.
The Green Bay Packers Buffalo game. So like.
Here's my thing about the tunnel. The tunnel's been there for nearly 100 years. And all of a sudden, these last 2 weeks, I guess, for Michigan's sake, against Penn State and Michigan State, there's been some type of issue. So if we're going to... I don't think the tunnel's an issue.
It happened last year, Michigan, Ohio State, after you guys won. But the only problem was that nothing had occurred because there was a full state trooper line where there was nobody between Ohio State and Michigan.
That's all that needs to happen.
No one was allowed in. Exactly. They showed videos of it this week.
Hey,
Michigan was literally like putting up the finger, waving goodbye, saying Big Ten champ, obviously talking shit, which you should after not winning for 10 years. I mean, all rights to you. And at home, going to the Big Ten championship against probably the weakest opponent you could find in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah,
it was basically solidified college football playoff, but
that was the weakest was Northwestern when Ohio State played them 4 years ago.
So we
doesn't even have a quarterback.
So we talk about all this stuff, right? And it's like there was mention of Ford Field being the site of this game for years to come. And it
ain't gonna happen.
I like it. You see it in the SEC all the time. Florida, Georgia do it. Texas, and Oklahoma do it.
No, because that's not. I mean, there's got to be the home field advantage. It plays a part. It's huge.
Yeah, that's the rivalry. I love it.
Unpopular. See, I'm the opposite. I think it's huge. Rocking 50-50, and it's not too far from either of the colleges. I mean, it's closer to Michigan, but it's 50-50.
No, I get it.
It'll be. I think that would be a very fun environment. I feel like it brings up that pedigree that Michigan State wants. Because let me remind you, as much as this game means to Michigan State, this isn't even our big rival. It's great to be state champs. It's great, but our eyes are set for November 26th. That is our game.
For sure.
That is our game. And it goes back to the whole celebration thing. Yeah, it was cool. We got Paul back. We talk our shit, but we know where.
Yeah, I mean, your eyes. This was basically a walk or skip in the tunnel, if you must say, for this game. It was an easy go. But no, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the whole college football is huge for home field advantage compared to NFL. And in my opinion, like, fuck, I mean, Michigan State had no rights being in this game, walking onto that field in the beginning. But yet they still won the first quarter. After that, I mean, Michigan got that fourth down stop in that second quarter, which just
Changed momentum.
Changed everything. I mean, being in that stadium, it was just like erupt. I'm pretty sure people in East Lansing heard it. Like, it was crazy. You're not getting that in Ford Field.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be more.
Right.
It's going to be more of a 50-50 type matchup every single time for the fan base, because each university gets a certain amount of tickets. There's certain ways to try to maybe side one way or the other. I mean, Michigan fans are more or less going to be attending that game because it's definitely going to be something where you'll have a game to play for. I don't see us, and don't get me wrong, and I'd love for it not to be the case, but I don't see us competing for the next three years or so.
Whoa, hot
in this
take.
game.
Hot
Yeah,
take.
no. It all comes down to just basically whatever Mel wants to do coaching. If he makes any type of change where it shows that we can actually do something defensively, then maybe. But, the past 2 years we have been this worst or second worst college football defense. You're not winning games in Big Ten.
So let's put this to rest. It's behind us. We're gonna move forward. It's a nice friendly rivalry, nice in-state rivalry that we love, that we look forward to every year, so we can give each other shit. That's what it is.
Oh, at 100%.
Right.
I mean, we even give each other shit.
Right. It went too far. Whatever.
Jail.
we got to put it behind us and let's move forward. But another thing Darren has touched on already a little bit is the Heisman.
Yeah.
And Darren and I talked about it in the first podcast. We had our top 4 or top 3 we talked about. Does that change after this week?
Let me just read off some numbers for both of you, or everyone that's listening, right? So you have running backs that have won the Heisman, Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, right? And now Blake Corum's in the mix. So let me just put these numbers out there. You have Mark Ingram in 2009 with 153 carries, 1,004 yards, and 11 total touchdowns through 8 games. This is only through 8 games with 4 to go and plus whatever's left. Then you had Derrick Henry in 2015 with 180 carries, 1,044 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Okay? Then you cut to Blake Corum, right? 179 carries, 1,078 yards, and 15 touchdowns. So this guy has 179 carries, which is second, one behind Derrick Henry, which next week he'll go over Derrick Henry, right? He has more yards and more total touchdowns. So what I'm trying to say here is Blake stays consistent, continues over 100-yard games with 20, 30 carries. And Michigan, let's say, goes undefeated. He wins the Heisman. There's no doubt about it.
There's only one variable in there, and that's Hendon Hooker.
I think a little off topic, he gets exposed this weekend. Georgia's defense. I know Nolan Smith's out, but Georgia is going to embarrass Tennessee. So I know we're big gamblers, guys. I'm putting a lot of money on Georgia, baby. Just saying.
I think public's going Georgia, so I'm gonna go. Not lying, I'm going Tennessee. They put up numbers. They do. They have a fast-paced offense. I'm pretty sure I've seen the fastest person besides Usain Bolt on the field when he played Alabama.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, he's basically unbelievable. He looks like it's just like a glitch. All of a sudden he's on the 10. Next thing you know, you look and he's on the 40. But it's tough to say, in my opinion, who I think.
Who's your front runner? Austin, who's your front runner right now?
Front runner, just based off numbers, it's tough not to put Blake in there. That's for sure. I don't really know if there's a true front runner for me. That's just because, obviously, you have you have CJ Stroud. I mean, he is who he is. He puts up numbers each week, every week.
Right.
And then Blake, as Darren said, based off those numbers, I mean, from the previous Heismans. And then Hendon Hooker. I mean, it's just unbelievable what he's doing this year. What I think comes down to is it's going to go to whoever that number 1 seed is leading into the college football playoff.
And
It
that's
don't matter if you, and that's just unfortunate because, I mean, as we were talking this week too, Blake Corum and Kenneth Walker, very similar stats. Maybe a little less on the touchdown side for Kenneth.
yeah.
But averaging yards per carry, Kenneth had 6.2, Blake had 6. That sort of matter. It's tough for running backs to win it now in a passing league, and everyone thinks QB. It's all about the QB. It's all about the QB.
I'm going to say this, right? There's going to be this all comes down to games, right? So next week is Hendon Hooker's Heisman moment, right?
Yeah.
He goes out there, he balls out, he wins it. That's it, right? That's it. End of story. Blake Corum goes into Columbus, has over 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. He wins it.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about college football with not being like a front runner, like you said. Truthfully, I don't think there is that one. Of course, I'm a little biased, and I'm gonna just push Blake. But you're right. Like last year, we knew Bryce was just gonna take it away.
Yeah.
He was just playing mine, and we just knew. And then they threw in a defensive player with Aiden in. You know, Kenneth. I think he got taken away there. Unfortunately,
He got snubbed from a visit to New York City, but
it was a tough situation.
That's what I'm saying. I knew he wasn't winning it, but
besides Kenny Pickett, like you can only compare those two because the rest of those guys there were like teams that with 11 wins and had like a chance to like win a national championship.
yeah,
right. And
and
I think with Hendon Hooker and Blake Corum, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, he's still a little bit in the conversation, even though he's been out. Each of them have yet to have their Heisman moment yet.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about. Alabama still has everything in front of them. So Bryce could literally run away with this again.
Let's dive into how shitty, with a capital S, the College Football Playoff Committee of a job they did yesterday night.
Yeah, so here's the thing, though. You're going to expect me to jump with you on that? I kind of like it.
No,
Right?
I here's my thing. I'm not worried about where Michigan's at because Michigan just has to win out. They're fine. But
for the viewers, though, Justin, what is the top 4?
The top 4 is Tennessee 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, and Clemson 4. Now, Clemson is an embarrassment to college football this year, and they don't even have a quarterback they can rely on, and they're in a game every week. And just because they played in a crappy ACC conference and they beat a couple ranked teams because each Power 5 has to have ranked teams, so somebody, the big dog in that conference can get in. Don't even get me started. Michigan should be 4 no matter what, but I'm not mad about it. It sounds like it, I am. What I am mad about is the SEC bias and how they put LSU at 10 and Texas at 24 or 23 as a 3-loss team just because Alabama beat them. Alabama beat Texas, and if you take Texas out of the top 25, Alabama has 0 ranked wins. 0.
Yeah.
But they had to throw them in there and then make this top 10 matchup this weekend on Saturday Night Football. They had to make it so if Alabama wins, oh my gosh, they should be 5 or they should be 4, even with 1 loss to 3 points to Tennessee, whatever. So that's where I'm at. It was atrocious. Like, you can even ask Olivia and Keegan. I was furious last night.
Oh,
do you think Alabama shouldn't be top 4?
Alabama should be behind TCU.
As of now, yeah.
They should be 7 or 8. That you cannot convince me. You gave up 52 points to Tennessee. Granted, yes, Tennessee's offense is good, and that's why I also think Tennessee will get exposed.
That's why they're also number 1.
Yeah, I get that, but Tennessee's defense got exposed too, giving up 52.
Everyone gets exposed to Alabama. That's just a thing. But I mean, I think you gotta. I understand the whole you base off like where you put other teams' rankings. That's how it should work. I get that. But like, obviously Clemson, unfortunate. That shouldn't be top 4. I mean, as you said, embarrassment. Right. Almost lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, this year is basically Michigan State.
No, Notre Dame plays them this week. Yeah, Notre Dame. Yeah, either
Clemson play first week.
Florida State. Yes, Florida State.
Yeah. Okay, Florida State.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
If not worse.
I just think though, like it kind of resets Michigan. I mean, we've been hovering in the top 4 this whole time, and it kind of just like, okay, we have something to prove, right? We've had those struggles offensively, technically, with like our passing game and playing like no one in our non-conference and all that stuff.
I was hoping one of you would bring that up. In Michigan's non-conference, yes, we all can agree it was not good. Okay, you look at UConn. UConn is 4-5, mind you. That was a team that was picked to go 0-12 or 1-11. Okay,
They're basically the school of the blind.
Don't get me wrong, but what did Michigan do? What did Michigan do to all 4 of those teams in the non-conference? They
did what they needed to do.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do.
Supposed to do.
Yes, isn't that what you are asking of? And plus, you can't tell me that Michigan like picked this non-conference a week before the season, so they can just start out an easy 4-0.
No, and the only problem I think is us in the Big Ten, and I'm referring to the whole Big Ten, have that problem where the SEC is the major conference, which we all get.
Yeah,
that's why 2 teams make it. The only way for 2 Big Ten teams to make that and kick either one of the SEC teams out is to schedule better non-conference opponents, which they had that luxury to do when the football playoffs started in 2015. They've seen how it should and would work out. Put your team in that. I mean, if you lose that first week to a top 10 team, I get it's already a damper to the season. But and anyway, now in the Big Ten, for you to make it, you still have to go undefeated. So what does it matter if that first week you do lose?
I don't disagree with you. And Michigan did have UCLA scheduled, and then they backed out, and so they had to pick up somebody. And Hawaii was like, "Oh yeah, I guess we'll come." But like, don't get me wrong, we all thought UCLA wasn't going to be what they are anyway.
Dorian Thompson is a beast.
He is.
Yeah, DTR, dude. Whew.
So, okay. But like I said, I think this actually helps Michigan, kind of resets everything. But like, damn, we have a lot to prove. I'm just saying.
I think it kind of puts a damper on what they've done so far. It's kind of like, oh, we're not respected. Like, this kind of...
But here's the thing, though. Not to be cocky or anything, but like, we expected to be in this position right here. We didn't expect that in a couple weeks, possibly a top 12 matchup between us 2 of them, right? Wait, I mean, we got over our first little hump here, Michigan State, because this is their biggest game of the year. That they're going to bring their A game. We got over this hump. Now, it's Ohio State. We knew we were going to get to this point, either with undefeated or 1 loss. So I think they've proved what they needed to do. They can be happy with what they've done. They have every reason to be happy.
You got to base it off of everything else in play. I mean, you're looking at it as an Alabama's a juggernaut. They've been there. They've done it. They've always shown that they can compete in playoffs. It's tough to take them out. Obviously, you're going to put Tennessee up at number 1 or 2 because of what they've done. Ohio State, they've been into multiple playoffs. They've shown they can compete. They've won. Michigan State, obviously we've only both been once. I mean, other teams that have been once, they're not getting that luxury to always staying in there even with the 1 loss.
Yeah.
Because they've shown that they haven't been able to compete in the playoff.
Yeah, no, that's actually a fantastic point. And I was even furious enough to send an email to the College Football Committee last night. It was a rough night. I went through it. I was in my feels about it. And granted, looking back, I mean, Keegan was on last episode. How about Kentucky embarrassing everybody? Like, they were embarrassing.
Everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, after you get through, like, the first 10 teams, it's just all kind of up in the air with that one.
This point, they just decide who has cooler colors, bigger fan base, and who cares at that point, right?
But another point is, I didn't want to be Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, Michigan in the top 4, only for the reason absolutely everybody knows that can't be the top 4 at the end of this because
Right.
Tennessee, Georgia play this week. Michigan, Ohio State play. Whoever loses ain't going to get in.
Honestly, I mean, if TC, I think there's 2 teams that have a chance. TCU, if they win out, Clemson also has to win out. If either of those 2 teams lose, I think there will be 2 Big Ten, 2 SEC schools. Which
but
deservedly should be.
do you put this is a good discussion right here. Like, do you put a 1-loss SEC championship Alabama in over a 1-loss Georgia that only loses in the SEC championship to Alabama? Do you put both those teams in? Or Tennessee? You can put Tennessee in Georgia's shoes?
I think it comes down to this week how well Tennessee compares. If Georgia has to win. That's the only way that anything can pan out. But if Tennessee puts up a fight to either making that game 1 score or even OT, if they make that OT type push, and Georgia does lose to Alabama, I think Alabama gets kicked. Alabama obviously makes it, and then Georgia makes it.
Yeah.
I think it gets crazy though. Like you just said, it gets crazy. Let's say Georgia beats Tennessee, and then Georgia Alabama play in the SEC championship, and Georgia loses, and then they're all 1 loss. It's like, what the hell? And then let's God forbid Ohio State loses to Michigan, and then Michigan goes then you have a 1-loss Ohio State team or a 1-loss Michigan team that arguably is just another quality loss, if that makes any sense. So it has
to all come down to points and spread and how it all pans out that way. Because if Georgia gets the win and Tennessee competes, then so be it. Tennessee has that opportunity if Alabama wins. If that happens, Georgia makes it to that SEC championship and just gets obliterated.
Yeah.
3 scores, I'd say. They keep it within 2, fine. It's football. You're going to give up that back door. But if 3 scores, Alabama win, you got to go Alabama, Tennessee.
Right. So, at the end of this, you almost have to expect 2 SEC teams.
Yeah, you really do. And if it comes down to, if Tennessee wins out too and gets to that SEC championship and loses to Alabama, then that's just automatic bids for both teams.
Right. So
lots of craziness happening.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna have a crazy last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and talking about crazy last weeks, not to like change it dramatically. Man, Takeoff, the rapper from the Migos, gets shot and killed over a dice game.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that is just that hurts, man.
Yeah, we're talking about tunnels here.
Yeah, we love music. We love music, and it's just like, you see that? Like, I saw the videos. I don't have parental guidance. Don't go look on Twitter or anything. But, jeez, oh, jeez, man. Jeez.
Yeah, there was definitely a problem out there, and honestly, it hit the rap community. It hit music lovers all around the world.
It's crazy. Go ahead, Justin, finish.
No, it was just kind of like, you don't really believe it until it just gets confirmed.
Yeah. I saw a tweet from 2016 to now about how many rappers have died, and there's 12 or 13 of them. Central score.
Fake field goal.
Nice. We saw they can't make a field goal, so represent the Dirty L, baby.
Hey,
Rapids kid.
Easy now. Money Meter is my boy.
No, I'm just playing. Good for him. The man's got a leg on him for sure. So I'll make a 50-yard in high school. But yeah, no, it's just there's been 12 or 13 rappers that have either died from gun violence or overdose since 2016. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's just surreal. Just it makes you think about life. Every day's precious, man. But coming up in life too, Thanksgiving, boys.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
Yeah, I'm in food coma for 3 days after.
You got Cowboys football. Sadly, the Lions.
Lions, you mean. Sorry, buddy. Hey, we're tanking. Don't worry. We're going to go make sure we get C.J. Stroud. Just for you.
No thanks. But, I mean...
You can't hate that man. He's a great pocket passer.
I just have trouble with Ohio State quarterbacks in general.
Hey, understandable.
Yeah, they don't pan out, so...
I just want stuffing.
Yeah, I did. But, I mean...
Or are you giving it?
What'd you say?
Thanks. I said, are you giving or are you getting for the Thanksgiving? For the stuffing.
I'm going to make mine. Yeah. I thought you were going to...
Yeah.
Oh, my God, kid.
I wanted to make sure I heard you.
Derek, get your mind out of the gutter, okay?
I was like, damn, you about to roast me on this right now? I was like, damn, I got no comeback.
All right, but, I mean, boys, we had a great conversation. It's always nice to catch up with Austin. Doesn't come around much often anymore, but... That
goes both ways.
I'm
You're
just...
only 45 minutes, not
I
2
know.
hours no more.
I'm messing, but, yeah. Thank you for coming on, Austin. Darren and I, you are invited.
You're gonna have to come. You're definitely gonna have to come back.
You're
on,
invited at
sure.
any moment.
I'll be back on we'll go right before college football playoff standings.
And basketball season starting.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, boy.
We'll save that one.
Yeah, that's
You know MSU basketball is my heart.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be the next podcast discussion.
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that.
Don't even... Mel Tucker is the Juwan Howard of freaking college football.
You're not wrong. But thank you guys. I love you. I'm going to go eat some dinner. My girl's looking at me like, hurry the fuck up.
But yeah, so appreciate you guys and thank you if you made it this far into listening. And we hope to have you guys back.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you, boys.
Love you guys.
Go blue.
See ya.
Go green.
Go blue.